Sir as a first eminent speaker, and that too on this very auspicious day. That's also a matching specifically on this day. Now, LM College of Pharmacy is a premier pharmacy institute of the country. Apart from or along with imparting a quality education and high quality research, we also inculcate the culture of innovation and invention in the students, or even faculty members are also participating in that. Now for that we have a very well established Institutional Innovation Council. We are the nodal center of student startup and innovation policy, and we have established a state-of-art laboratory and office space incubation center. It is Atal Incubation Center, which is supported by Atal Innovation Mission, Niti Aayog, and that is sector specific for healthcare and pharmaceuticals. And it's doing really good. We have a good number of incubators at present. We have all laboratories for all kind of specialization, state-of-art laboratories, and even office space, working spaces also. So to promote all this kind of innovation and invention, we're always there. We have a very large pool of mentors also in our incubation center. So all kind of supports are given to convert idea into the enterprise, which is now a need of time, that we should be a job creator, not a job seeker. So where the innovation will definitely help the participants or incubators or students to move ahead. So I once again welcome all the participants, all the faculty members, and our own Honorable R K Goyal sir to this first webinar on the webinar series on Science of Science in the Spotlight. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for giving away the and welcoming our honorable speaker Goyal sir. Sir, before we proceed for our first webinar, let me give you the preface and the objective behind organizing such webinar series to be hosted by LM College of Pharmacy. Sir, we at LM College of Pharmacy will be organizing a webinar series, Science of Science in the Spotlight, with an initiative on quality and ethics in research every month at our institute. Now, this webinar series, which is on Science of Science in the Spotlight, is aiming to provide a forum for multidisciplinary exchange and dialogue across the field of pharmaceutical science research at LM College of Pharmacy. We have planned to invite eminent scientists and academicians to disseminate their knowledge and research for pharmacy fraternity via this platform created and hosted by LM College of Pharmacy. We would like to sensitize and spread the awareness about quality and ethics in research via these webinars. We know we have been into academics and research for some time, but we need proper direction from experts in the field, how to conduct a research, how to write a research paper, how to manage the references in the shortest possible time, how to write a research proposal or how to write a research grant proposal, how to carry out a further characterization or the screening study for the various product and process what I have developed. Or even I have written an article, but I am not able to find the proper journal. Or I want to increase the citation of my papers. How do I do? How I would be connecting and making a network with scientists and experts of my field across the India and across the globe. So there are many such things coming up in next month via this webinar series. So this is a very humble effort we have tried to make in the academic year 2021-22 at LM College of Pharmacy. And as rightly said by our principal sir, that the first thought which came in our mind to begin with a webinar with a man himself to his Karm Bhumi, where he has carried out his majority of the research at LM College of Pharmacy. So with this humble efforts and objective, we are starting this webinar series with you. We have with us Professor Gaurang Shah sir as a chairperson of today's webinar. So let me introduce him briefly. Gaurang sir. Sir has a total industrial experience of 1.5 years and with a total teaching experience for 30 years. He has on his name more than 50 presentations at different conferences, seminars, and workshops. He holds 6 patents. 1 has been granted and 4 patents are published in his name in Gazette. He has on his record 65 research publications and won 5 different research awards. He has guided 99 MPharm postgraduate projects and 16 PhD projects. He is very well known for handling the industrial projects, and he has handled more than 50 acute, subacute toxicity, dermal, and ocular studies of drug formulation for national and international regulatory submissions. He has designed and executed large number of industry-sponsored pharmacodynamic studies of active pharmaceutical ingredients, as well as drug formulation in the area of bronchial asthma, anemia, cardiovascular disorders, diabetes, and cancers as well. He has also conducted special training program for scientists of Zydus Research Center. Talking about his research area and interest includes both in vivo and in vitro preclinical pharmacology in the area of inflammatory disorders, gastrointestinal disorders, hematological disorders, and respiratory disorders. He is also a life member for many professional organizations like Indian Pharmacological Society, Indian Pharmaceutical Association, Association of Pharmacy Teachers of India, and Indian Pharmacy Graduate Association. I welcome Professor Gaurang sir, who is currently the professor and head department of PharmD at LM College of Pharmacy, to chair this session. So dear participants, we have 2 eminent pharmacologists with us to enrich and enlighten us on this pious occasion of Guru Purnima. Over to you, Gaurang sir, please.
Thank you, Ketan, for a very lengthy introduction of mine. And first of all, I should also bow my head to my beloved teacher, Professor R K Goyal, under whom I was groomed here at LM, and the same place I am here. And I still recall those days of 1987, 1990, till up to 2000. I was doing my master's and PhD under his able guidance. I feel extremely fortunate to be his student, and I'm lifetime indebted to him for this. I have been given the privilege to introduce our speaker, and at present I feel that I'll be doing injustice if I put these things in words, because all the words what I would put would be insufficient to tell about his caliber. But still, as a formal requirement, I will just put it in words. His journey though started, professional journey started from LM College of Pharmacy, and from 1978, and for 33 years he was associated with LM directly, then again at Ahmedabad University, then being a vice chancellor at MS University, then going to the director at SRM University, then finally, after so many other places, he finally reaches IPS, where he is presently the vice chancellor of the only pharmacy university, and there in his second term also is doing a wonderful work there. And we get news daily of his further achievements, and I feel proud of being his teaching experience. I could say right from 78 onwards till this date, even as in a position of a vice chancellor, you ask him and he's ready to take a class. So with that dedication as a teacher, I still feel that I need to learn a lot from him for this part. Research, everyone would envy his research achievements, and 700 publications, and out of which 361 full papers, most of them in international journals of extreme repute, and 19 books. Rather, we can think and dream in itself, but he has achieved it, and he's still continuing with this with the same passion. PhD guides in various universities, guided 182 MPharm, 44 PhD students, and in various administrative committees, various research committees, he is there, and various national and international awards. And recently, last year, if I say, he was included in the top 100 scientists of the world. His achievements are extremely enviable, and various government committees, various research-based committees, various organization-based committees, TEDesco committees, IPC committees, for NEC committees. He has been an active member of all of this and has contributed a lot. Even his international contributions have gone to Canada, Russia, and many other places. So a very well internationally famed personality is with us, and I feel really proud to be his student and will remain indebted to him for his contribution in my life also. So thank you, well, sir, and
thank you so much.
And I request him to take over the session and initiate this, provide this learning to all of us.
Okay, thank you very much for the nice introduction you have given to me, and let me share the screen and start about that. Okay, first I would like to congratulate and compliment not only Professor Mahesh Chavaria for starting this series, but also my congratulations, compliments to all the staff members, all the alumni who have joined this. Allen College of Pharmacy has been the first pharmacy college of the country, and I am happy that I was there for 33 years. And currently the first pharmacy university, so I have a real sense of satisfaction of my life here. There are many things which have been there, and today I am really obliged. I feel great, really honored. It is a coincidence that it happens to be the Guru Purnima day also. I mean, otherwise it was to be held on 23rd. So this is something which is by coincidence has occurred. And I will rather begin with my pranams to my guru, Dr. Odi Gulati, who was there in medical college. Other many teachers I will not name, but there are so many. And of course, my all students, beloved students, and who are all present. I can see the list. Dr. Sunita, I'm seeing my all colleagues, Dr. L.D. Patel, Dr. all the, I can see, I cannot go on talking. I mean, I remember all, how many are there. Well, I have some nostalgic moments again. 1997 saw the celebration of the Golden Jubilee. And a distinguished lecture series was started at that time, just 1 year before, or in that particular period. And I was chosen to be the first speaker in that series by Dr. C.J. Shishu, Professor C.J. Shishu was there. And what a coincidence, after exactly 25 years, when the college LM College of Pharmacy is going to celebrate or to prepare the Diamond Jubilee, 75th year, and starting a series, Science of Science in Spotlight. And I've been given the privilege by Professor Mahesh Chavriya for this. There is no sentence. I don't know how to tell my feelings in this case. Another thing is that, as mentioned by Professor Gaurang, my one of the best students, I can say. I remember right from early days, some of these students, they have really been so, of course, there are many distinguished students. Two of them are Vice Chancellor currently. This is a rare incident that when the Vice Chancellor and his students are also Vice Chancellor. There are many directors who started. Gaurang was one of the first one to become the directors and principals. Dr. Tejal Gandhi, I know, I think she is also present in this. I can see the list. I really feel proud of all. My journey, I had a, yes, during my post-graduation, I had on the rat anococcus muscle. But in LM College, I was known for that. A person of non-anococcus muscle in early 80s. And the turning point was my association with Professor Shishu. Dr. K.S. Jain at that time asked me or requested even Dr. Shishu that why don't you take Dr. Goyal also with you for the LM1554 compound, which has been patented and all that at those days. Yes, I got associated, paper was published in Arzimetal Fortune, and the relation started. As I am having relation with Dr. Chavriya, not just as a friend, but as a researcher, the chemistry. And in those days, we used to do the dog experiments, and then Dr. Shishu used to give the compounds without telling what it is. Probably he was also not aware of it. And we used to give in the dog, and one of the compound turned out to be a very beautiful antiarrhythmic 2026. I think I am 2116 or something. I probably I was just trying to recollect, but it was something which was anti-arrhythmic type. Well, both these compounds could not see the day of market. But the story which I am going to tell has seen the market now. But these two compounds, although they were not coming to the market, but they have touched almost that market point. Well, when I had the opportunity to go to Canada, antihypertensive, then I had a series of experiments, and our LM College was known for the diabetic lab, streptozotocin diabetic. Probably the first in India to have been doing extensive work. And then herbal, I remember Dr. C.S. Shah at that time. He was known, and Dr. G.C. Bhavsar, again, great personalities in pharmacognosy, and followed by Maltim and Chauhan. They had their own contributions to the college, to the nation, I will say. And taking it further, I never wanted to be in that list, but Dr. Umesh Upadhyay, who is in Baroda again, and LM College, B Pharm, M Pharm, and did PhD under me, took to the herbal, that is the Anacostema. And soon I was known for that, which is still going on. The classical pharmacologists turned to herbal pharmacologists. So these are some of the memories. Well, at this stage, I would like to first pay tribute, or I will not say tribute, but a sort of a condolences that many people lost their life. And the figures are deadening. The current figures which I am projecting, 19 crore is a very high number of the cases, with 4 million deaths. In India also 4 lakhs deaths. These are all very sad figures. But when we say something which is a calamities bring something opportunity also. And what happened? So science got into the spotlight now during this. I can make out from these days from the Google, you can make out many things. One of what this COVID has taught us, the COVID, first thing it is go for multidisciplinary exchange of ideas and facts. Even our national education policy says the same. Another new thing which emerged, of course, it was 15 years back also, the Oxford University with the company they tied up, they had an understanding with Pfizer that or another company also, that there will be in the calamities, the data sharing will be free. They will not be charging. I myself had a long, when the lockdowns were there, let me tell you in this lockdown, what I lost in last 15 years, being the administrator, I could regain that almost. That has been my biggest gains now. I could not believe that I can publish 30, 40 papers in 1 year. And that too in high impact. One of the paper latest has come with 18 impact factor, 1.8. So this is something that has happened because of the data sharing also. The science of science has changed now. Although there have been uncertainties in the science and scientific knowledge, but research on research was another thing. See, there were uncertainties with respect to COVID also. What to do? What is the symptoms? In the beginning, even symptoms were not clear. Diagnostic procedures were not clear. What drug to be given is not clear. How to manage the patient is not clear. Of course, by the second wave, everything was clear, but things did not, work at places. So research, and then if you have to have a license for one drug, 14 years we used to say, then 10 years. Chinese show that there is a 2.5 years or 3 years, which 5052 pathway has shown now. And that is there. So understanding China science is also becoming a great thing. Of course, there is a controversy that whether China only gave this virus or what. That is a different case. But yes, it has been there. So research on research now became. Incidentally, in this period only, this Stanford University giving the bibliometric research performance, the top 2% scientists, what you are saying, and then cumulative also, consistency also. So many new things came up. Artificial intelligence is becoming more and more common. Digital-based advanced learning. Now, I remember there was a time when the mobiles started. We used to fire the student, get out from the class. Now he's supposed to come with mobile and that too with the smartphone. This is what has the change now. Previously, it was difficult to convince the teachers that please be computer savvy. And now there is no option. And rather now teachers come to, nahin sir, humko to offline nahi, online chahiye. Now this is the change which is occurring now. So this is something, a revolution which is coming up. Phenomenal changes, phenomenal speed of innovation. I must congratulate and compliment, and I feel proud of it, of LM College that I was there. The innovations. Yes, I remember this innovation, although I was not using the term, but I used to have something innovative. I think Dr. Gaurang, I remember, if out of my 45 PhDs already, who was the most innovative student for me, I will name Gaurang first. Dr. Gaurang, I still remember after MPharm or during MPharm, the way in which he was trying to develop the method of cardiovascular event. The way in which he managed to have the intraocular pressure measurement. I remember all those things, and it was possible. So today, whatever I am, is because of research students who are there as a researcher for me. And we tried that the drug, his work was on the oculohypotensive, the drug treatment in glaucoma. The AC inhibitors which he showed, it was a tough time, but yes, we wanted to have it commercialized. But probably we were a little bit ignorant about the policies. But now it has become the life. So I'm happy that Atal Incubation Center is there. And then when somebody has to think of the international collaboration, visit is must. Now without visit, international collaborations are occurring. So the science of science has changed a lot. And because of this, now 2021 is a year of transition. Individuals, businesses, societies, they are all looking for a future, different type of future now. This is the one. It is a year of transition. What is the next normal? If I say the new normals have come, return of the confidence to unleash the rebound, digitally embedded productivity, and this is going to rather increase the productivity. See, during COVID, things have gone down, but it appears that in some sectors it has multiplied with a less cost, because work from home became a sort of a trend now, and probably it may continue. So, and then as I told you, wave of innovation. There has been change in the shopping and all that. I will not go into that. But what has occurred particularly for pharma is biopharma revolution, I will say. Now, when I say biopharma evolution, means it is a bio-revolution. We are looking for biomolecules, biosystems, biomachines, biocomputing. This is what is the change, the next new normal have occurred. And with respect to pharmacy, very, very important is support of regulators, whether it is CDSCO or whether it is US FDA or whether it is European Union or Australia or anywhere. You can go on talking. Regulatory relaxations became one of the criteria now. It has become a very, very essential rather. Many drugs, so without relaxing safety and efficacy requirement, there is a change. What we say emergency use authorization has become the day. Of course, there are many other things. I will not go into the health, but healthcare system. Every country is forced now to invest more in the healthcare. Maybe in years to come, you may hear that now it is not the 1% or 3% GDP, it may be 10% or 5% GDP will be given in the health. Of course, I don't know whether it was intuition of Modi ji or what, Ayushman Bharat and all those programs, they initially already started these programs. Now probably it is, COVID is telling that no, this is not enough. Well, this is what has the next new normals have come. Well, when the new normals are there, I will rather urge our pharmacy fraternity to understand. Don't try to have a pharmacy as in the silos, let me tell you. Pharmacy is a healthcare overall. And at least from the COVID, understand medical devices, nutraceutical, diagnostics, vaccines, they all fall under the pharmacy. Now, when I'm saying pharmacy university, it is not simply a name change. I distinctly remember Gyani Jail Singh, the president, the then president, when he came, he told that let LM College be converted into university. I still remember his words. I don't know why society did not take it in a positive direction. But certainly it is the requirement now. Of course, I am there, but all these things have come and there is a requirement. You have to understand you cannot be separate. It is total healthcare. One has to be part of the Allied Health Science Bill, which has been introduced in recently. In 2021, the bill has been not only introduced, it has been passed rather. It was introduced 3 years back, but now it is through. So this is what has to be understood. Well, I gave my title Science of Science, and with respect to the drug discovery and development. Let me be honest that from 1990s, I used to dream that I will have a new drug. When Professor Gorang Dr. Gorang at that time gave this drug, I tried to contract the company that can we have this drug we introduce in the market. When one of my students showed the effect on the migraine, I tried to go to the market, if any company can take it up. But somehow I was lacking that ability because I was more a person of the autonomic pharmacology to begin with and others like Professor Rand, and it is still continued. Of course, the MJ Rand told in his autobiography that maybe in my next life I will get, but I will thank my God, I will thank my gurus, thank my students that this dream of introducing a drug in the market has come through also. Totally new drug, the drug for the COVID and to other complications also. This is what is the dissatisfaction. But initially I used to feel that I am also like a hobby, I'm doing it. Well, now to make what is drug discovery and what is drug development. See, drug discovery and drug development, you try to understand this also. Drug discovery is not a drug development. Now, to understand this, let me go back. Before 1950s, academicians were involved in the discovery. Like currently, if I say Dr. Chabria, Dr. others are also doing it. Trying to get more molecules, more concept, this, that. It is a drug discovery. So it was academics. Industry were not doing that sort of thing. Sarabhai Research Center did, they failed. They could not go ahead. Even SIBA also could not go. And I mean, I am telling the best known names at that time. Now it is different. Now Zydus has come up with the Ripaglin. It is something great. They did discovery leading to development and directly development also. So after 50s and 60s, when the change was there towards the company, there had been a little change in the strategy one has to understand. And I got this feeling when I was in Chennai for 2 years. Anyway, so change is always there. This slide shows that how the strategies have been changing. Whether it is a source of drug and the drugs being used, if you see from herbals, we are at the gene therapy now. In the diagnostics point of view, previously it was diagnostic, where they used to diagnose from the pulse. Now it is genome-based diagnostics. Maybe there will be ATM cards with your genome. You go to the, just like ATM machine, to the a machine of the doctor, rather, doctor like a machine. You type your symptoms and you may get prescription and you can start treating yourself. Who knows? May come. Artificial intelligence can give you that. Concept of preventive, people never used to thought too much. Now everybody consider health for all. I remember health for all by 2000, but that did not work. Now data science has come and it is there. So things have been changing from time to time. And with this time-to-time change, being a pharmacologist, I am feeling the change is very fast. When the penicillins were, the chemotherapeutic agents, antibiotics were discovered, it was a sort of a revolution. When the levodopa was discovered for Parkinsonism, it was another revolution. It was a biological revolution, but receptor revolution. But by the time secondary messengers came, it was a third revolution. And my journey started in the 1980s. By the time I catch what is receptor and the different pathways, molecular revolution was there. By the time I catch that, genomic revolution came. The Human Genome Project made the difference. By the time I tried to learn this genomics, omics revolution is there now. Well, as a pharmacologist, I have been always a psychic person. By the time I learn something and there is something new now. How I will convince when I am myself, I am not in a position to catch it up. This used to be there. Well, there were many people like Dr. Ashok where they gave the concept of reverse pharmacology, Dr. Bhushan Patwardhan and all. Well, reverse pharmacology was nothing that if you know that a drug is working with the limited clinical trial, let us enter, go to the trial, straight, drug to market. So reducing the time period. That used to be the concept of the reverse pharmacology. Another reverse pharmacology was to go with the targets. So both the things were a little bit parallel. If I say like this, see, 20th century, I am sure Dr. Chabria is also there. He will be remembering compounds are synthesized, they are sent to the pharmacology department, or the students started working pharmacology. Functional studies, and then you go for the mechanisms and all that. That used to be so the first part. But then now with the change, molecular understanding receptor, ligands, function, and then finally go to the function. So that brought the change in the concept and all that. Now, so this reverse pharmacology was little different from other angles also. And what for the herbals, it was given by Dr. Bhushan Patwardhan and Dr. Ashok Ved was different. Well, I have been trying to, I told you, although, I mean, now I have got some success, but all those years I used to think, I'm sure our Dr. Gaurang will vouch for me that yes, I was trying to do that. Dr. Surita will just say that yes, I used to pursue the clinical patient. That is what the work she started. Now, so learning from that, I was to follow it up. That initially the failures were because the drug is discovered, but it will fail in the pharmacokinetics. So DMPK became an important division in every pharma research company. Then clinical failures came where the efficacy was the problem. Then the time changed, efficacy, failure rather increased. And it went on. So there was something. And in the meantime, the things came was the genomic bridge, the divide. That was the Human Genome Project. And with the discovery of the gene therapy, first gene therapy, 2007, imitinib, there was a clear demarcation that now you have to have a diagnostic on one side and discovery on the other side. So this historical divide led to the change. But this genome, then everything rather went on the genome side. There have been rapid changes in understanding the genes. And by the time 2000, Human Genome Project was discovered, it was presumed that there will be 50,000 druggable targets. But then they reduced to 30, then 10, then 5, and now people say around 900 to 1,000. This is what is the reality. Well, there's nothing to worry, but if we say that what led to this is the variations in the drug response. Variations, we used to teach only gender or age or something small thing, but very important thing which came was the gene polymorphisms. Now today, I don't know how to describe this COVID. 90% of the patients are, or 80% are asymptomatic to, they can be managed easily, mild. Only that 10 to 15% are to be admitted and hospitalized, or they really suffer. 5% are critical and 1 to 2% die. This is a reality now. What is the key factor? Key factor is genome. Yes, to some extent, herbals are also responsible, but key factor is genome. And if I say what I used to teach in 1980s was pharmacogenetics. Now I have to teach pharmacogenomics. So I will not go into detail, because if I start telling, it needs several lectures for genomic and genetic. But mRNA based. Now, so you are trying to understand at the genomic, the particular sequence. What we are saying, alpha, beta, delta, gamma, all these variants are coming. Now, this genomic has to be understood. Then only you can go in the drug. So this is what is happening now. Now, I'm not here, so this science, I'm not here to tell this entire science. This is also, again, I can give a full lecture on this genome and genomics also. But the surprising part is that when the first genome was, it was $100 million were required. The cost of one genome used to be in the $1 million. And by within 5-10 years, it came down to thousands. So today, that next gene sequencer which has come is the reality. I tell you that we are fortunate that we are going to establish this genome center in our university. So this genome is another thing. The GWAS studies have started, gene-wide association, genomic associations have started already. So the whole science of drug discovery, from typical, forget about the herbal, typical synthesis to the genome base or target base, or to the, with the all DMPK and all that, it went to the biomarkers, I will say. The personalized medicine or precision medicine, which I'm talking, became the biomarker-based drug discovery. Biomarkers were known, but now in the form of genome. Now the whole cycle has changed. This is my own creation, that we used to talk that we used to have drug modeling, in vitro studies according to that, what we say STS and all that, and then in vivo studies, and then if you cross all these phases, that the drug is in the market. So forward translational research. Now, once the drug is in the market, that pharmacovigilance starts. Post-marketing surveillance starts. That gives the lead that some population doesn't respond. I mean, what happened that for pharmacologists currently, the M.Pharm pharmacologists or MD pharmacologists, they are more absorbed for the pharmacovigilance. This is a surprise. It was a big surprise in 2015 when I came here. I said, how come for just reporting adverse drug reaction, they are paid so high? The reason was that here the divide occurs, identification of the new targets, which can be a drug target. So through that, we get which gene, what is the, like EGFR for cancer positive and EGFR negative. So what that negative is there, you can go to the another pathway. So this is how, and then, so you have identified a new target and you go in the new cycle. So this is a reverse translation I used to call. When Dr. Sunita Goswami, she came to me as an MPharm student. She simply told one sentence, I want to do clinical. I said, what clinical? There is no meaning. You talk to a doctor, try to find out what is the problem. Then Dr. Hasmukh Mehta, he told that yes, diabetic patient don't respond to digoxin. So there I got the catch. No response, understand that, why there is no response. And that led us to the identification that it was something different. It was a digoxin levels, they go up, and rather it is a toxicity rather than non-effectiveness. So sometimes the clinical observations make a difference. Such clinical observation, negativity. Why now in last 3-4 days, there is a lot of hue and cry, which our Dr. Balram Bhargava of ICMR Director General say that people should have reported what are the causes of the death. Yes, it is correct. That is what is important. From there, you may design new treatments. This is what is important. So, these biomarkers, I'm coming back to the hardcore science, that these biomarkers are now required in preclinical to clinical and post-clinical for future also. This has become a reality now. Well, so currently the new drug discovery means you have to start understanding the disease first, get a new lead, and based on new lead, you can say everywhere you need more and more biotechnology. I'm sure LM College of Pharmacy, which used to have dogs up to 2000 and all, it is now biotech based. I'm sure Dr. Gaurang might have brought those changes also. But he has been working in K Viper also at that time. So this whole change has to occur. Now this new thing which is coming, like you have to go with this information. So I'm coming back now. This slide I'm repeating because I want to tell that the drug discovery we are, as an academician we are doing, and drug development industry is doing. Our academicians should also do drug development, utilizing facilities like atomic incubation also. This is what is my feeling, and I'm really delighted that I am telling this part now. Now I will give few examples. See, just to talk based on literature is a different case, but I had a fortune to be involved in certain direct drug discovery research. During my 2-year stay at Chennai, we got 4 molecules for psoriasis, multiple sclerosis, and cancer, 3 particularly, and inflammatory marker. And we are trying to follow this 5 of the 5. Partly we are stuck because of the funding, but hopefully we should come up. In 5-0 pathway, you have a linker. An active molecule is linked to improvise the activity of that. And you get a new drug. That will be called as a new drug by itself. And when it is a new drug, but since the toxicity, everything is known, a limited toxicity will be required. That is what is the 2B part. So one of the drug was for the cancer, wherein we all know that in breast cancer, EGFR positive or EGFR negative, the HER positive, that is what is required. And for treatment, you can either target the ligand or the intercellular domain or the downstream pathway. So there, EGFR inhibitors came, but imatinib failed because, and there were certain drugs which could not, monoclonal antibodies did not work because the patient was not EGFR, polymorphism was not there. So we have, a group in USA, they developed few compounds, and those compounds, they were tested for the flow cytometry, the work was done. on which phase they work, and we could find some compound to be very, very effective. The two compounds, they were very effective. So acting on the specific site of the cell cycle. Like that, we had integrin receptor, MIF receptor, all those things were there. But considering the time, let me talk more on the COVID which have come and what the success story which I will tell now. We all know that COVID has created havoc because of the rapidity with which it spreads, the change in mutations which are occurring, the cardiovascular problems which is causing, the third wave which is anticipated, and the need of the drugs also. Currently, if I see the situation, as a pharmacologist, I will say that most drugs are approved as emergency use. That means safety and efficacy is not exhaustively done. I will not say that they have not been done, but it has been not exhaustively done. But there was a requirement, there is nothing wrong in that. And vaccines have also come like that. And I'm reading the first sentence, which is there on that cardboard side. It is not written in any chapter or introduction. A small, just like an advertisement. The Goodman-Gilman has written that medicine is ever-changing science, and a new research and broaden it is required. So this Goodman-Gilman, which probably nobody is reading that, the requirement is to change. The change is required. When Professor Bhargava was giving, Balram Bhargava was giving some, I picked a few things that there was a lot of things claimed by herbals or the people that, okay, we have got this drug. None were found to be really effective. That's why everybody is working on vaccines. 11 vaccines have almost done, I mean, almost in the worldwide, if I say. 6, 7, 8 have already come. But if you talk of the drug, very few drugs are coming. This is a reality. Everybody is trying to claim that our herb is doing that or our herbal preparation is doing that, and many things are coming. But again, novel claims, and they were all not found to be effective as on the virus. When actual virus was seen in the Pune, it was not there. But this is a study which our group of the Allied Health Science, which is the MBA students and MPH students did it. They did a survey of the casualty, that is the case fatality ratio versus the country using the alternate medicines. It is the very graph, the red line indicates that there is a inverse relation. So more uses of the herbal, less is the fatality. This is a study of about 8 months back. See, the countries, including India, the usage is high, but ratio is less. Whereas in UK and all, it was very high. It has come down, but it is still higher as compared to our countries, Asian countries. People are saying they are having herd immunity and all that, but at the same time, the herbal usage, the traditional medicine usage is also important. So when we say previous slide that there are claims are not there, but I mean, there were clinical trials of 142 of the Ayush registered in the CTRI of ICMR. Well, what happened is that we had as I told you, when there was a lockdown, I was little bit free from the administration. I will say by and large, I was free from the administration. Little bit of administration only I was supposed to do. No student coming on campus, staff members are also at home. So it was really, and then no travel, nothing, no meetings, no travel. So that made my life easier, which I really liked. So I had a whole thing of start identifying a proper, understanding the pathophysiology, chemistry, doing the in vitro, in vivo, and finally tying up with the company and getting a drug. Now the whole so beginning was the Aravali Biodiversity Department. We had a meeting with Professor Babu. He was the Pro-Vice Chancellor of Delhi University on some time, and with our staff members, we went there. We identified with a clear focus. I mean, there were many plants, but we focused based on certain aspects. Antiviral, I mean, there were clear aspects that, okay, I mean, like when we say, no, you go on putting various conditions and add conditions, and then you will narrow down. So 8 plants we narrow down, and then 2 plants we came in. Simultaneously, in the beginning, the Ministry of Health was also publishing the reports of each death. So there were very less number of deaths. So from up to May, we followed that April actually, and around 200 patients we followed, and we tried to understand what this disease is. The reason was that I was really, the moment I saw that yes, it is the renin-angiotensin system, I said I am working for 35 years on this particular part. So I jumped into it. The first paper was published. This is the paper of May, June. It came. It came in the June. It was submitted, and it came after 3 months. We could clearly say that COVID has a definite connection with renin-angiotensin system, and that too, angiotensin 2. In the meantime, because it was ACE2, and we tried to analyze the kadha, what we say. The red shows that yes, it was effective. I was not impressed that it is not really having, and it is not going to work. I was a mad scientist. I said nothing doing. It is all wrong. But I could tell that even the immunoboosters I tried to analyze. There was some substance, but not to that extent as I wanted. It cannot treat the patient. But simultaneously, we were invited to write a paper, a review article on targets. I accepted that challenge, but I was finding very difficult. I was not in a position to find the real pharmacophores. But fortunately, with the herbals, we could find that. And this paper got published in September. I know how tough it was. We kept on adding the people also. To begin with, it was chemistry. To begin with, it was Dr. Jasila who was delineating and all that fact. The repurposed drugs, Dr. Rajiv talked. But herbal drugs, then Dr. Mahavir entered into it. And he got us the person can do the molecular modeling, Dr. Kalicharan molecular. And then pharmacology and molecular pharmacology was backed by Subbu, and then my Bhumika, she joined for the pharmacology because slowly the work started piling up for me. Anyway, the outcome was that we could identify several plants, at least out of several plants, some of the plants which showed really great activity. And we tried ACE2, 81, 82, and RDRF, and even the ORF. So if you know the RNA, it has got 70% ORF, and rest is the S protein, N protein, and all that. And those proteins are being targeted for vaccine, but nobody bothers for the other chain. But that ACE2 binding, that was important. So we could find that, and the value, I think Dr. Chabria and all, they will understand what -11 value means. Yes, we could find some of the compounds. And in the meantime, in the September, October, the report came from New York that azithromycin is showing the positive result. To our surprise, that was showing ACE2 blockade. I don't know how. So justified. But it gave us the confidence that we are going in the right direction. Well, this is now a currently talked thing, which I used to tell at that time, that antiviral, don't go blindly to antiviral. Repurpose was done for the antiviral, not for other thing. I don't know why the world was not thinking out the ACE2. Everybody was mad after the RDRF and bringing this remdesivir and then hue and cry for remdesivir. They have the role. There is no question. If you see the severe cases and this, antiviral will show only up to 10 days. That's it. If the patient cannot be managed within 10 days, it is out. It has to die. The more important becomes the later part when there is an inflammatory phase and you need something which can treat. And every stage, it was, if you see, virus, when it binds to, when it enters through nose, the first target is S protein, but S protein is attached to ACE2. So multiplication you can manipulate, but once it has entered in the body, the AC is there, the brain, eye, heart, lung, liver, everywhere it is ACE2 then. It is there available in the blood. So it is going to produce multiple effects, and that's what was happening. If you have AC modulator, you may have this. So you can explain everything, whether it is a viral infection, organ damage and all, it is all through the ACE2. Well, this was our theory. I'm talking because I did, but AC modulator should have been there. But even as of today, because the more work is required, I cannot tell that you need AC2 has a regulatory mode. That is the important part. So you cannot say that you need inhibitor or stimulator also. Now, but definitely AC2 down regulation is clear now. And the various studies are, this is all because every day you are getting something new. So all what you are hearing in the COVID, it is ACE2. Well, with this hypothesis, we started thinking who else is working in the world. I could find only one place, Austria, Vienna, we are working. They have come out with the soluble RNA of the ACE2, recombinant soluble RNA ACE2. Of course, they are the third phase of study. We are fortunate to get a herbal-based drug for that. And simultaneously in last 7-8 months, reports have started coming. No, AC is responsible for CNS or all those disorders, but drugs are not coming. Well, here was the excitement to us. There we collaborated with the University of Missouri, and in Missouri, the antiviral, I think Dr. Gorang, if you see this, a typical dose response curve was seen, which is not possible, and it was with the drug. This is something, the Kalus 3 cells which we used, we could find this. And by the time December, we had clinical trials started in the Bangalore. We had RT-PCR test on day 5, 7, and 14. There were two arms. One arm was exclusively our drug, and other arm, as per the ICMR guideline, the standard chemotherapy. You can see the difference, 44 versus 8.9, 94 versus 58, and 100% versus this. So we could get the positive results. Not only that, the patients did not develop any, they were almost like healthy. Even I suffered and I relied on my own drug at that time, and it did work. So now at our university, combining all these things, to begin with the herbs, phytochemicals, to drug targets, so repurposed medicines, mRNA and all that we are working, and finally, of course, we are having it has gone into the market. This is what at our university also we are trying to do. So this was a joint effort. We gave the technical support. University of Missouri did some functional studies. Jammi was the herbal manufacturing partner, and Remedium, finally the Remedium, the chlorophyll zinc. Plus, this is the drug chlorophyll acting on all the phases, and the mechanism is clear why it is so. And with this, now I don't know how to explain this science of science. The science of this 20th century science and 21st century science. The reverse pharmacology or what? It is a combination now. Herbal drug, the functional studies, bioinformatics, molecular targeting, and cell-based studies, and finally getting the formulation and the clinical trial. So this is the thing which we could get. What I'm trying to convey is that the research, if you are dreaming to be for the formulation development or the new drug development, you alone cannot do. You can see now I had a chemistry person, pharmacognosy person, chemistry person, pharmaceutics person, all high level people joining hands. It was not, we don't do that many times. We remain in separation. If you see the history of what was done during 91 to 97, and beyond that also, because chemistry and pharmacology came together. Phytochemistry and then we came together. Certain formulation. So coming together can only make the formulation. So that is the science which one has to understand. Yes, when your bibliography and all that does matter at some stage, but if you are really aiming to get a new drug, this is to be the approach. We have the interactive discussion. That's what only I will say. I remember 81, our Dr. Shishu used to say, started the seminars. The seminar, the concept was that you are listening and interacting with each other, not a formality. I do understand we had that there will be examination, grading and all that. But the real purpose is to interact, ask each other questions. Unfortunately, everything is turning out to be mechanistic more rather than really having it. Otherwise, we Indian brains, the best institute, the first institute of the first College of Pharmacy, can do the wonders. And it is doing the wonders, and it can still do the wonders. But this is what is the science of science which is required to come up. I will stop here by saying thanks to my all collaborators. And yes, what I visualize our dream, this is the slide which I prepared in 2016 when I joined, that we will have three impacts: the impact of research with the industry and social impact. That's what we are aiming at. So thank you very much. And I wish that more and more distinguished people come from the LM College. Already the Cadila, we can boast for many, the all alumni of LM College have been there all around. So still it can go further into it. Thank you very much and all the best to you.
Thank you, Goyal sir. One thing everybody must have witnessed here is the beauty of a good teacher. explaining the concepts with the stories, the real stories, the factual stories, and that example he has placed here. And for that's from which I have learned a lot, and is I used to practice it in my classes also.
Oh, thank you.
One thing I would like to put a point at this stage. At LM College also, we had screened a lot of compounds with the help of students. Doing a lot of virtual screening, as you have said, documenting for various herbal components, various library of chemicals, what we already have. Almost 4 to 5 publications in good international journals we have screened, and we have the help of Schrodinger and been done. And still students are working on developing a good formulation for COVID-19, different aspects, inflammatory aspects, as you said, on various components the students are working. Additionally, at LM, we have also initiated a good amount of collaborative research, what you were telling, and recently combined projects with chemistry and pharmacology, pharmacognosy and pharmacology. Such things are coming up, and lots of such activities are now becoming routine in the lab. I would, at this moment, take privilege to even invite you personally, physically to the institute and witness what we have done till date. With respect to what you were telling about that story of ACE inhibitors and our experience with ACE inhibitor, I'd like to just add a quick point on it. That part was once we established that the ACE inhibitors were working in glaucoma, we had approached Cadila Pharma, where it was means combined Cadila. Zydus versus Cadila Pharma, they were combined. Dr. Bakulesh Khamar was there as a research person there, and he himself had asked his people to evaluate our activity there in their lab, confirm their activity, and they also showed similar results in their lab. And then he had used it on his patients also, because he used to be an ophthalmologist. So he prepared a formulation in his lab, in his FND. He gave it to at least 5 to 7 patients also as an eye drops. And he found it to be effective. But then he commented, and that was a one big learning point for me also, that this drug produces effects similar to timolol, and so it is not market friendly. So with that comment, that project got closed. So that was the point I wanted to add at this point. One more thing, there are some questions on the board, but before that, I wanted to ask you on just one point. That is, there is a concept of tailor-made research which is coming up versus the pattern-based research. As we know that there are certain patterns. Is this model already published? Then only we can use it. Whether for selection of a dosage, acute toxicity has been done or not. So something, there is a pattern that you have to do it, and then only you can go ahead. Versus now the innovative based model development and then working out independently. So that ideology, what is that which is changing, but it does not rapidly change in the mind of academicians. So what have you comment on this point?
Okay, see, first, thank you very much for reminding me about that AC and the Cadila. But I still feel that it could have been taken further. This is still my feeling. It can still be taken because in our time, we used to focus only on the intraocular pressure. Now we should focus on the retinal damage also, because glaucoma is now redefined. It is defined for the retinal damage, and there it should come. See, I have also faced a lot of problems with the companies when they come to it, but of course, sometimes it matters. The position matters also. With what you are talking, I'm linking your question with the other second question which you have put it, that patent, the dosage, the pattern. Now in this COVID period, everything got disappeared, or I will say. First thing is, and in my life, I have also learned, I distinctly remember it was 2015 or 16, it was, Jan Narayan Vyas, our health minister, he organized a conference in the AMA. And I don't remember the name of the speaker, but he told that beyond patent, there are many things. And that is what I am following. I don't care for patents, honestly. Partly because now I am almost like plus 60, so what to worry now about the career? Honestly, I'm telling you, I'm more worried, what can you give to the society? Forget these patents, forget your publications. So patent, I don't know. My son, he is there in Toronto. He says patent means a license to disclose your secrets. License to disclose your secrets. Come on. Why you want to disclose your secrets of anything? But it is truth. But it is a truth. Patent means that only. Once you have the patent, your secrets are out. This is what is my feeling also. It is something to be debated as an academician. Okay, now when it comes to doses and all, in this COVID era, there have been a lot of mishandling, I can say. Yes, I remember, I tell you to answer that, I was in NMIMS. I was taking care of the research division. Every student will do toxicity first and then start screening. I said, come on, if a compound has not shown the effectiveness, so you are working on 10 compounds, you are killing hundreds of the animals, and out of that 10, only may 1 or 2 work. Why you have all wasted the animals, energy, time, everything. I stopped that practice. I said, first show the efficacy and then go for toxicity. Likewise, I personally feel, if I talk to, I should not talk, but I am talking, I will give with the name. I will not give the name, but there is one expert in India. He is supposed to be all committees of the for herbal. If I take something of herb, which part of the plant is showing the effect? Which extract is showing the effect? I said, come on, I am showing the effect. Why you are interested only in that? If whole plant is showing the effect, why don't you go further and give to the patient first? When the even Ayurveda also says the same thing. Why you are troubling us by that? And honestly, I have another theory now. Plant is not manufacturing 100 compounds. In our lab, we are synthesizing. By putting this extraction with particular solvent and all, you are making more and more compounds for your publication, not for the plant or to the drug. That story goes to the chemistry person. They can structure activity relationship, they can do it. So this is what is the case. So what I'm saying is, let us be little different in our approach. This is what, so, and approach has to change from time to time. So doses, yes, it is important, but not like that. Right? Dose has to be considered, but at the same time, one should not be stingy. I mean, one should not, I will say, we become more over academician that way. So that should not be the case. See the practicability there also. This is, I think, I hope I have answered what you have asked. But there are many questions I think that I can see on the chat box. So
Yeah.
you can take the privilege of asking those. Anyway, come.
Yes, yes. The first question is from Little. What is the
Yeah.
status of research in regenerative medicine? What is the scope for Pharmacologists of India in this area?
Mittal Dalal, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So nice to see your question. Well, he is again a very good student when I used to say that. Now, see, regenerative medicine, as I told you, uh, the medical devices we should at least touch. When it comes to regenerative medicine, if we develop that expertise in the gene therapy, and then, I mean, it is something like organ formation or something like a CRISPR technology in biotechnology. It is a little advanced level. So if you are a good biochemist first, biotechnologist, I mean, not biochemist, biotechnologist, then only you can dream it. Scope is definitely there. The making the new organs, new material, the material vigilance. So scope is there, but exclusive scope as of now I cannot see immediately. But yes, for certain organs, certain regenerative, it is required.
Okay. Answered. One more question is, can you share your experience about repurposed drugs, and also in addition, what would be the first step in repurposing approach? Whether
Well,
to explore chemical structure or molecular path?
Well, what is repurpose is that if something is used for a particular purpose, and if you find it is effective in others, it is a repurposing. I mean, like a it was metronidazole, anti-amoebic, and then it was repurposed for something else. The same thing, the aspirin is the classical example. These are the oldest examples. Now, in the repurpose, if I say remdesivir, it was developed for Ebola. But in the Ebola, what happened, that virus, if you see the ORF strip, there the one of the protein, one of the part was not being, it was rather regenerative, it was not getting, allowing the virus to be killed. With the remdesivir, this was possible. And in the COVID, with the COVID virus, so it became a drug. And now we have found the solution even for that, how it can potentiate that. Now, repurposing was good. There's no question. I mean, like everything is repurposed, because in the emergency, when patients are dying like anything, you have to do something which is like immunobooster. Nothing wrong when we had kadha, when we have the koath, or nothing wrong in that. It was sort of a repurposing only done. So repurposing has its role, but repurposing drug has to be taken further. Can you understand that? So it has to be taken now. In the light of the knowledge now, we have to modify. That was my little bit disappointment with the doctors also. They started strictly as per what the WHO is saying and all that. And they themselves are withdrawing within few months, or rather within sometime 1 month also, they are withdrawing it. So one should see their own thing. So repurposing is good, but it has to be changed from time to time.
I think Dr. Sandeep must have satisfied with his answers. And another question from Dr. Vanna Patrawale. How are we placed with respect to nutrigenomics in India? Any studies undertaken?
Well, nutrigenomics, I saw one in Toronto. There was a Alsomi. It was like in the coffee drinking. There is a specific enzyme, and this polymorphism is seen. Now, a patient showing that CYP polymorphism, the chances of heart attacks were more as compared to those who are not showing. So, based on that simple test of that nutrigenomic, you can advise the patient to take more coffee or not, or to take less number of coffees. So like that, as I remember with Dr. Patrawale, I will just say one thing. In India, such studies are either not done or they are done half-heartedly. We simply copy from what has been done and then we try to develop that. I was after that clopidogrel to have it. Clopidogrel in way back in 2000, when I was associated with Sterling Hospital, I showed that there is something wrong with this clopidogrel. The patients are dying because of thrombosis. Being an anti-thrombotic drug, you are getting thrombosis in these patients when it was used with another fondaparin oxides, distinctly enoxaparin, and it was a clinical trial. And nobody was bothered about it. Exactly the genomic study was required there. So nutrigenomics has a long role. See, if scientists like Dr. Patrawale, he has done an excellent job in the stents. Let me tell you, I don't know how many pharmacists are aware about her. She has done the most wonderful, if I've done work, translational research with respect to stents in the country. So if a scientist like them takes up such thing, it will be a real wonderful. It is required because now the dietary habits are changing, and with that the disease pattern is changing. So if we know little bit of nutrigenomics, probably we can prevent many diseases and we can do a good nutraceuticals also. So I hope if there is any counter question, I will be happy. I mean, I will be taking it. I don't have to think of that.
One more question is there inside. That is, with the risk of drug development, prohibitive, repurposed, or repositioned medicines appear to be the best hope against COVID. But still, we are not getting any satisfactory answers from repurposed drugs.
Repurposing can work. There's nothing like that. See, we also take, whenever we start any research project in pharmacology, we go like that. It was a repurposing only. What we did with the AC inhibitor in the glaucoma was a sort of a repurposing only, nothing else. From there, we went to enalaprilate, if you remember. And then we selected the lisinopril because it is a directly acting, because our drug was not showing that effect. So repurposing has its limited role because of this. Then another set of repurposing was for the immunomodulators. All drugs which were used in osteoarthritis and all, they were all tried in this. Our Trump, who was not a pharmacologist or not even scientist, gave a non-science information that chloroquine is the best drug. I have 4-hydroxychloroquine, and he made a havoc. He might have killed many patients without knowing it. It was also a repurposed drug. But because of that, at least that inflammatory, we got tocilizumab, and there are many monoclonal antibodies now. Then neutralizing antibodies came up in this process. So all these things are result of this. So nothing, I will say it is not a failure. It is a success. But then, as I told you, you have to understand more pharmacology. At that time, nothing was known about this COVID. Nothing was known about this virus behavior. Nothing was known about the pathophysiology or molecular mechanisms. Now, since we are knowing it, we should change our strategy. This is what I'm trying to tell.
Yes, I agree to this. One last question from Dr. Mamta Shah. Drug repurposing in case of medicinal plants since therapeutic pluralism exists with most of them, as raised I think not getting the exact question, but drug repurposing in case of medicinal plants. What is your say about it?
Okay, drug repurposing in case of medicinal plants, since the therapeutic pluralism exists with most of them. Well, let me tell you, see, plant, the nature has provided a lot. To understand nature is not that easy. Now, if I say simple, starting in my experience, the ginger has got shagols and gingerols. Now, different shagols and gingerols have different effect, and one of the effect is on the 5-HT. Now, 5-HT has a different receptors. 5-HT2 receptors involved in the GIT, 5-HT3 in the MSs, 5-HT2A in diabetes. We have seen that. Now, if I say, oh, your ginger has got this effect, that effect, but it is a combination. So that pluralism is there in that. Now, if you can understand and study it properly, you may define, you may converge into a specific, and if you want, you can separate also that action. So every lead is coming from the plant base only. 80% of leads have come from plants. There is no question about that. Whether it is a story of, you can take any story. We may say Rifampicin has not been that successful, but afterwards, the concept which they gave out the sympathetic, that was important. The concept which they gave of sedation became important. Same thing for the with anemia. So like that, it is important. And repurposing is a new terminology because of the COVID. It is important, but there is and all the whole world of Ayurveda is a sort of a repurposing only for different things at that. Right? As we learn, I mean, especially when the new disease is there, you cannot say that there was a drug existing in the Ayurveda. People claim there are some sentences people are Ayurveda people are showing that this is there, but by and large, it can be used with caution, rather, I can say.
Yes, it was quite clear on this part. One last comment is there that few days back there is a newspaper telling that zinc and multivitamins can cause mucormycosis.
Okay. See, mycosis, havoc. I mean, as a pharmacologist, as a basic scientist, if I analyze from the epidemiology point of view and how if we recollect the all sequences, it started with the oxygen problem. During that oxygen problem, we started giving them even the industrial oxygen. Now, this itself is one of the source of infection. So mycosis is a source of, you have to identify from where this fungus started. This was one of the major reasons, I will not say. And then routinely also we harbor many germs. Probably this fungus was there already and it has occurred. Now, whether it was because of the zinc or like that, I personally feel it is not. Actually, I am afraid of these newspaper people. That's why, in spite of reaching to this stage, I have still not gone to the media to tell that, okay, I am having a successful drug. The reason is that if they write in a little twisted way, I am gone. I don't know, maybe Ramdev is also not wrong, but the media might have twisted his statements also. You never know that. So I am afraid of it. I had enough when I was in MS University. All that every day I was in news. This time I am avoiding all this. So newspaper has a limited role. I mean, you have to be very careful with what they are giving.
It was a very long, informative session, and I think everybody must have learned a lot in this.
And no,
One last
Nobel. I'm reading that.
we
Nobel
don't have
Prize.
any Nobel Prize winners from India.
See, it is not like that we. Now, winning the Nobel Prize is also strategically, a strategy has to be there. Number one. I was talking once to Lord Bhikkhu Parekh, who was the Vice Chancellor at MS University in '84. I had invited him as the chief guest in one function. We were discussing this. He said that Nobel Prize is also considered a sort of a strategically and manipulative things also, in the sense that some scientists they decided that no, they have to have Nobel Prize. So first thing is publication in the very, very high impact. So every paper should go in the Cell or Science or like that. Not difficult also. If you really do the hard and clear-cut focus work, you may get the results. Now, when it comes to India, the first thing is that in medicine, I should not be quoted in this thing, but it is a truth. We have CSIR, DST, DBT, UGC, and all that. Scientists go on complaining that our project it was good and it is not coming. Some says he got a paper project which was not worth of it. All these things are to some extent right, to some extent wrong. Now, I'm in the DST committee. When I see the project for doing the clinical trial, what sense it makes. You have ICMR, go there. That is the right agency. There are projects which are purely herbal and purely extractive ways and no science further. You should go to Ayush. Unfortunately, I don't know why the whole strategy is not to divide that. It is a taxing, 1,000 projects coming at a time and to evaluate. See, so what I'm trying to say is that Nobel Prize is given to something basic research. This is one thing, most of the time. Or something which is having a very, very highly applied value. Basic research with applied value. Here, we are having the strategies which for medicine and surgery, basic research is not being promoted hard. Medical people say non-medical people should not come in their area. How can you then have a combined research? Hardcore basic research with applied value, it is not possible. So if I am asked to give this comment, my honest answer is our strategy itself is wrong. That is one thing. And that is the reason that Nobel Prize cannot come set that easy.
It's a long going story on this part, and it's a quite debatable thing. But one thing that we have a lot of good discussions, and with the number of questions coming up, I'm confident in telling that this lecture was a big success. Everybody has enjoyed here, and I again thank you, sir, from personally as well as from the LMCP. Big thank you.
I still say that I belong to LMCP.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Tejas.
Yeah, so thank you, sir. So on behalf of LMCP, now I would like to request Professor Manish Chhabria deliver this certificate of appreciation to Professor R K Goyal.
So, sir, as a token of love and appreciation, please accept our token as in the form of certificate.
Thank you so much for it. And this is I accept. And it is always, as I told you, I have a, I mean, I still say that I'm in LMCP. There's no question in that.
It's always there. Yeah. Thanks a lot for sir everything and accepting our invitation.
Chetan sir.
Yes, sir. So once again, on behalf of LM College of Pharmacy, we extend our deep sense of gratitude to Honorable Professor R K Goyal, sir, for giving his consent, giving his valuable time, sparing his valuable time with us to enlighten us on this pious occasion to start this webinar series right onto the spot. Okay, so a good teacher, what we have seen today, has talked about what is in the spotlight, and pandemic COVID-19 infection is the spot in the spotlight, and he is very well explained in a simple and lucid way what is the science of science in the spotlight through an entire sequential events of drug discovery and development. Thank you very much, sir, for accepting our invitation, and we are very honored when you say you still belong to LM College of Pharmacy. So I request all the participants now to please put on your camera. We will have a photo with our eminent speaker Goyal sir. Please. Sir, I hope you will recollect all your memories of LMCP by seeing many of your colleagues onto your screen virtually.
Yes.
Yeah. Tejas sir, so please do the needful to capture a photo.
Yes, sir. Just a minute. I'm doing.
Yes. Let everybody get their camera on.
Okay, sir. Done.
Thank you all. Now, as we have said in the beginning of this webinar, that we are going to bring you something new every month on the virtual platform of LM College of Pharmacy. So what is right now the spotlight of measurement of research output? We being evaluated by various accreditation agencies, various ranking agencies, nationally and globally. What is the sizable research fund that an academic organization or any organization, research organization can sort for research funding from different agencies worldwide? So we have a next honorable speaker coming to us in the month of August, on 14th August, Professor Vanna Patrawale Madam from Institute of Chemical Technology, Matunga, Mumbai, with a topic of strategies for effective research grant writing. So we will be declaring the topic as well as the speaker every month for the next coming month, the topic as well. And we welcome your suggestion to justify the objective with which we have started our webinar series. So once again, I thank Goyal sir as well as all the participants to attend this webinar and to support all of us. To give away the formal vote of thanks, I invite my colleague, Dr. Tejas Damelia, who is also coordinator of research committee at LM College of Pharmacy, a very young and dynamic medicinal chemist, to give away the vote of thanks. Please, Dr. Tejas.
Yes. Thank you, sir, for this opportunity to deliver the vote of thanks. And a very warm and grateful afternoon to Honorable Professor R K Goyal, Professor M.T. Chhabria, Professor Gaurang Bisha, faculty members, participants, friends, and colleagues. It's a privilege to deliver the vote of thanks and to acknowledge the contribution who work really hard to make this webinar successful on the eve of Guru Purnima. That is our scheduled lecture series on Science of Science in the Spotlight, and the very maiden lecture on this series that is delivered by Professor R K Goyal on the topic of Science of Science Management in the Drug Discovery and Development. So on behalf of Research Committee LMCP, first of all, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to Professor R K Goyal, who spared his valuable time from his busiest schedule. I remember the day when Professor Chhaparia called Professor Goyal. So Professor Goyal was ready to deliver this note without any further kind of formal necessities. So thank you, sir, for giving this lecture. And I hope that whatever the your learnings we learned today from this topic on COVID-19, drug discovery, development, repurposed medicine, that will enrich our faculty members, colleagues, and the students as well. So that will show a new path in the pharmacy, in the field of drug discovery and development to us. We extend our hearty vote of thanks to Professor Mahesh Chhaparia. Whenever we approach Professor Chhaparia for this purpose, webinar series, sir is always ready with us to guide us, to motivate us, and to deliver whatever the deliverables for to make this event a successful one, successful webinar. An event like this cannot happen in one day. The wheels for the same should start rolling so many weeks before. We have been fortunate enough to be backed up by a team of proactive and dedicated staff members. Dr. Ketan M. Ranch, the coordinator of research committee, Professor Anuradha K. Gajjar, who initiated us to conduct such webinar series on a monthly basis. So thank you, madam. Thank you, Professor Gaurang Bisha, to chair this session in a nice and lucid manner. And I'm thankful to, last but not the least, all the participants that you just get together in this eve of Guru Purnima. So on the occasion of Guru Purnima, I would like to express the saying of Lord Guru Nanak, that Tina lok chahda bhuvan mein Guru se bada nahi koi, karta jo na kari sake, lekin Guru kare so. So with this, happy Guru Purnima to all the teachers, all the respected and beloved Gurus, and thank you everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So, Ketan sir, shall I end the meeting?
Yes, sir, you can end the meeting.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you.
If any data you need to capture from chat box, first you capture it, then you can end the meet. See,
Yeah,
whatever
so,
different features, yes, attendance or chat backup you want to take, then you can please do it.
okay. Okay.
So that it would be easy for us to prepare a report. What were the questions raised in the session?
Okay, sir. Done. Yeah. Then we can end this meeting.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.